In Britain today, there are more than 4 million CCTV cameras watching over us. Fears we're becoming a surveillance society have already turned into reality. Cameras are now on almost every street corner. Whilst they are generally there to deter crime, the things they sometimes detect are quite unexpected. It's a quiet Sunday morning in Swansea, in South Wales, and these cameras, next to a Chinese takeaway, happen to be trained on the road outside. An unfortunate man out buying his Sunday papers has just been mown down by a callous hit-and-run driver, seen only by the camera and a solitary passerby.
I could see a body in the curb at the side of the road, and I could see this car accelerating down the road, going like hell, and it had a very distinctive engine noise because it was being revved highly. As I was running down, there was a Volkswagen Beetle coming up, so I flagged that down and pointed.
As luck would have it, the driver of the Beetle is an off-duty community support officer.
He was conscious and breathing. He was bleeding quite a lot from his head. Everywhere else looked okay. We were just trying to get him to stay still, so obviously we didn't know the extent of his injuries. The man told me that he'd been involved in a hit and run, the car had made off.
PCSOs aren't actual cops, but luckily for the man, they do carry radios. With the alarm having been quickly raised, traffic cop PC Dave Mellor is on his way to the accident and might even have a chance to intercept the runaway driver.
It had come over as a pedestrian had been hit over. I don't remember if anyone had said that he was bleeding up, but you start thinking the worst. I remember trying to drive there and thinking, do we just take the straightest, most direct route, or do we get there as quickly as we can, maybe taking an alternative route, just in case that vehicle comes the opposite way.
An ambulance is going straight there, but it's not the reassuring noise of its siren that the witness has heard first.
The PCSO was on her phone, and I could hear this distinctive engine noise coming back down Llangafelach Road. And I thought, that's the same engine noise. Well, as the car came to where I was, because I was slightly around the corner, it slowed, and I could see that somebody was looking at the scene. As soon as I looked up, I couldn't recognise him. This car went belting down the road again. Same engine noise again. So I knew it was the car. Not having a very good memory, I started repeating the car number out loud, out loud, out loud, until I knew she'd written it down.
The victim's in a bad way and losing a lot of blood, but he is still alive.
Help, help, he was shouting. So, don't move, look, whatever you do. So he tried to raise his head. I said, look, keep yourself still. Don't move, whatever you do. I said, look, the ambulance is on its way. It'll be here in minutes.
He said he was feeling cold, so we got him some blankets to try and keep him warm until the ambulance got there. I was just hoping the man was okay. He's more concerned about his dog in the house than anything else.
The ambulance has finally arrived, along with PC Mellor, who didn't catch sight of the red Metro.
When I first got there, I could see there was an ambulance there. I could see there were what I thought was 2 witnesses. One of them transpired to be a PCSO. I was overwhelmed at what I saw. The amount of blood that was there, I thought he'd be dead.
Thankfully, the paramedics have been able to get here in time to save the man's life.
You know, we're not looking at a fatal, we're not looking at a murder scene straight away. It's still going to be treated like that because things could have deteriorated in hospitals, as things do.
It was only a very short walk from his home for the man to get his papers.
I'm looking at the newsagents here, which is probably 50, 60 metres in front of me, and his house, which is 10, 15 metres from the space of 100 metres from his house. Not even that.
His local takeaway is right on the doorstep too, and it's their CCTV cameras that filmed the sickening incident.
I was really shocked when I found out that he was on my next door neighbour. And to be honest, I don't see why does he disturb this. Just get run over by a maniac and not even bother to think twice and stop and help, see if he's okay.
There's no way really in which I can say the pedestrian was at fault. I don't know if he was reading his paper at the time, but he had virtually cleared the junction, the danger area for himself. had gone, but not so.
I just can't get over how careless the driver is not to stop at the scene. Yes, fear comes into it, of course it does, human nature, but human nature also says, I've hit someone over, I need to make sure they're all right. But the fact he's come back round, you know, he's done the loop, and again, knowing the area, he's done one of two options down at the bottom. To come back round, he's obviously aware that it's occurred. You can't not know from the bloody windscreen. You can't not know from the sound of the impact. But he's come back round, whether it's the check or whether it's the shit, I need to get out here quick chap. But still, even by checking, he hasn't stopped. And that's the underlying factor. Someone could be dead.
The hunt is on for the hit-and-run driver. Luckily, they've got a head start thanks to some positive thinking by the witness. The car's registration has led the cops to an address nearby.
Steve, our shift biker, went to the owner's address where it transpired the vehicle was actually stolen.
The car's only just been stolen.
In the meantime, another call had come in relation to a small red vehicle that had been seen driving erratically in an area less than 2 miles away.
While the investigation goes on, 40 miles away in Cardiff, traffic cop PC Tony Lewis is on patrol in one of the suburbs. He worked for a solicitor's for 5 years before deciding instead of defending criminals, he'd rather be out catching them and putting them away.
I've got a lot of friends who are solicitors and a lot of them are criminal solicitors. It gives you a bit of an insight as to what they're looking for, obviously with your evidence, etc. How thorough you need to be with it to make sure everything's in place. The last thing you want is for somebody to get off on a little technicality.
PC Lewis has seen a car ahead that's, beyond reasonable doubt, going too fast.
The speed limit is 30 miles an hour.
Actually being able to take up a position behind him and maintained a follow position on him, where I've recorded his speed at being not less than 42 miles per hour.
Just clock the police car behind him.
So 300 yards with a police car behind you. You should have noticed it really, shouldn't you? If you're looking in your mirrors and using them as you're supposed to.
The driver's failed to keep his eye on another potential problem as well.
If you have a look at the rear offside tyre, that appears to be considerably undeflated as well.
His first words to me were speeding, so he knew the reason why I'd stopped him.
But he's got a good excuse.
Yeah, my foot slipped on the accelerator.
I was obviously slipped down for a long time, didn't I? Yeah? Obviously for 3 or 4 seconds that foot slipped down. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Okay, is your car?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Stephen Nichols.
Okay. That tyre is under deflated as well, mate. If you put your foot on it, you'll probably find it goes right down.
No problem, I'll get that changed.
Sorry?
I'll get that changed.
You might have a slow puncture or something like that. Have you ever been in trouble, the police do? No, I've never been arrested.
He's not slipped up before, but he does have connections with the law.
Okay.
Was a magistrate, so,
Sorry?
My father was a magistrate. So
Your father was a magistrate? You should know better then, shouldn't you?
I should know better.
Shouldn't you? Come take a seat in the car then, mate. We get lines like that quite often. I think they expect to get treated differently. You'll get people reeling off names of police officers they know, and you're just thinking, why? And 9 times out of 10, yeah, you know these people. And when you speak to them about 3 or 4 days later and say, oh, I stopped you, mate. He dropped your name as soon as I stopped him. They're all like, well, I hope you did him.
I'm still not used to the power of that yet, anyway.
You're not used to the power of it?
Yeah, well, I had a 1600 Escort before, and it's 2 litre, that is.
Okay. I'm just going to caution you, Steve, all right? You don't have to say anything, but it may harm your defence. If you do not mention any questions, something which relates to lying in court, anything you do say may be given evidence. Do you understand that?
Yep.
Okay. First thing you said to me when I stopped you, yeah, was what?
My foot slipped on it.
My foot slipped, okay. So how fast do you think you were going?
About 40, I think it was.
About 40.
It was more than 30.
More than 40.
It was it?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
It's 42 miles an hour, mate.
Oh, blimey.
42 and a 30, okay. In a busy residential estate, which Ely is.
Yeah.
All right. at 20 to 12 in the summer holidays.
Yeah, I know, stupid, isn't I?
Well, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Likelihood, children playing in the area, young children,
Yeah.
unaccompanied by adults.
Yeah.
Football runs out into the road. I'm just giving you a scenario now.
Yeah.
One of the kids runs out after it, and you're doing 42 miles an hour up the road.
I can't stop in time.
You can't stop. Your one tyre's underinflated, yeah? It's not good, is it?
No.
Do you have any points on your licence?
No.
Are you willing to accept an endorsable fixed penalty notice in respect to the offence?
Yeah.
When people are speeding and they're speeding in front of you, I mean, what more can you do? You're in a big marked police car. You stand out whenever you're on the road and they're still doing those speeds in front of you. There is the document, okay?
Okay.
For your own safety and the safety of others, please slow down a bit, yeah?
Yeah.
And at your earliest convenience, get that tyre sorted.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Well, I'm going to Tesco's now, so we can get it done.
Okay. He received, in these circumstances, 3 points and a £60 fine.
Hope not to see you again.
Don't be like that.
Oh, no, I don't mean it in a good way.
Wash yourself. All right, take care.
I'm with John now.
He realised and accepted that what he'd been doing was wrong. These things happen, mate. Take care.
All right, cheers.
He was lucky he didn't say his father was a solicitor or something like that.
Back in Swansea, where the stolen red Metro sped off, leaving a pedestrian for dead, the traffic cops are retracing the route the driver might have taken.
Having been born and brought up in the area, I wanted to make 100% certain that the direction of travel that could have been taken was the one that was taken.
Like Fitz in Cracker, PC Mellor's trying to get into the head of the hit-and-run driver and understand the psychology of what he did.
From waiting at the junction, you had a clear view going across the junction. The vehicle's turned in. Collisions occurred here. He's actually carried the pedestrian where he's landed here, so it doesn't look a great distance, but when you're travelling on front of someone else's bonnet, that's big enough for me. The driver then has fled the scene.
It sort of helps with your own mindset then, as right, okay, are there any questions I need to look at? Is there any evidence that's been dumped off there?
Coming back up to the junction where the driver, don't know if he swerved to avoid here or whether he's tried to have a look in. CCTV's picked him up at this point again.
We'll never know why he came back. I'm hoping it's because he thought, I need to find out. But yeah, more fool him for doing that, because the witness that was there has clocked the car. What a brilliant witness. I can't praise the witness enough.
Some other star witnesses have been responsible for finding the stolen car.
We found the vehicle at the time. Thankfully, members of the public are good enough to phone in and report a small red vehicle that had been seen driving erratically. So my sergeant, Richie, has gone there. Lo and behold, he's found the car.
It's been brought in for a thorough examination.
It's only a little car. Thankfully, the guy's alive. He's still been checked over because at the end of the day, he has a head injury, and there was a lot of blood lost at the scene. To the point we actually had requested highways to attend to wash the roadside. A fire engine actually turned up to wash it away. It wasn't just a case of, oh, let's hope for the Welsh rain and try and let it slip down the drain there. It had to go. My opinion of the driver, when we speak to him, see what he or she's got to say, but they don't have a good reason for leaving the scene.
It's down to CSI Swansea, the police forensics experts, to come up with some evidence as to who might have been responsible for stealing the car and running down the pedestrian.
It's a good gouge at the tyre.
Thankfully, Neris was there, and she knows her onions with her job.
Due to the nature of the offence and it's a nasty collision, person's obviously injured. So I'm going to do a swab now with the gear stick, continue my examination and eventually be powdering it. Obviously all of this is to do in the hope of identifying the offender.
We didn't know anything about the driver whatsoever, so the more evidence that Neris could have got from that car, the better.
It has been ripped off on that side to give you access to the ignition in order to steal it. In order to do that, they have to usually break away at this plastic. So thankfully there's a little section just in the footwell here, which seems to have some kind of disturbance within it, within the dust. So we're sending that away for chemical treatment internally at police headquarters in the hope of developing marks on it then.
Metal and plastic are two of the greatest things you can get fingerprints from.
This is some force applied, so there's disturbance used on it, so sometimes in effect you can see there's scuff marks on it. So it'll up to the lab to use the best chemicals, which is usually super glue and this type of item really to develop them.
The images that we had from the CCTV, we were able to enhance it quite a bit. And you could see there was only one person in that vehicle. Unfortunately, we couldn't enhance it enough to get a facial ident on there, but it was more than enough to show that whoever was in that vehicle at the time was the sole occupant, so they were the only person responsible for causing that collision.
There's often a negative stereotype associated with women drivers, but it doesn't apply to female traffic cops. They're every bit as good drivers as the men, and even share the same dreams of being in Jensen Button's shoes.
Always wanted to be a traffic officer. I love my racing, my Formula 1, any motorsport. I love my cars, anything like that. But yeah, it was a natural progression. It was something I wanted to do from a child.
This afternoon, PC Laura Griffiths is on patrol on the outskirts of Swansea. The news is that a car has crashed off the road and someone is trapped.
2 elderly people, injuries unknown.
Yeah, no, show me code 6 then, please. As I got there, all I could really see was this car just up on the pavement, nose first into a house, up against a lamppost. You're trying to work out what's going through my mind is, how's he got you?
Hello, my darling, you alright?
The couple in the car aren't injured, but it's not the best bit of parking in the world. The driver's had a bit of foot trouble, and now he's trapped.
My foot caught under the other tread, so I couldn't put my brake on.
Trap can mean so many different things. Trapped upside down, trapped can't get out, feet trapped, but he was only trapped because the lamppost was in the way.
He's got his foot stuck underneath the pedal. He's gone off the road and hit a house on the carriageway heading out to Llansamlet. Doesn't appear to be any injuries at the moment, just a bit shaken.
Looking around, I could see then he'd knocked the wall down and the front of the car had disappeared. It could have been worse if he'd hit other cars. He was very honest, in all fairness to him. He's like, yeah, my foot got stuck, couldn't get it from around the pedals, and as he said to me, it was either careering into a line of traffic or the wall.
Just in case there are any hidden injuries, the pair are going to be checked over by ambulance staff once they've been set free.
It's the wheel it is, hold on. There we are. Can you get out to there now? There we are, sweetheart. Ambulance are here now.
Everybody look at me now, it's over the age after driving.
Don't be daft.
The little old lady, she was in quite a bit of shock.
Don't upset yourself now.
Just really unnerved her, really frightened her and spooked her, and she was shaking, just wanted a little bit of support from the people there.
That she's not hurt is a minor miracle, considering the havoc that's been wreaked.
I'm parked there. They come in at us. I don't know what happened. He went straight into the wall on a corner pine by there. As he went in, he jerked in, he turned and hit us, hit our side there.
When he'd hit the wall, he sort of bounced back a little bit and hit the car that was parked in the lay-by.
No, I was just stationed the car was.
All right.
I'm sat in the car bit.
All right.
So the car's over there.
It was minimal damage. It was just a dent to the back door. Not nice for them. He just caught on the rebound off the wall. Because of the force he'd gone into it, it had demolished the wall and fallen onto the house.
It's ripped off most of the wall. It's all cracked all the way down to the side, down to there. And it seems as if it's actually hit the front of my house as well. So we'll have to get a structural engineer up here.
She's got frozen chips in the boot she's really concerned about. So we need to get those out and in the freezer.
That was her main concern, was frozen chips. She had to get these chips home and in the freezer.
The poor couple very nearly had their chips, but thank goodness there'll be no need for any hospital food.
She wasn't injured. She didn't want to go to hospital, neither did her husband. It was a reassuring mission from the ambulance crew, just to sort of calm her down and make her realise, things like this happen every day, and he'd been driving for so long, never had a bump. It was a big issue of pride for him. His pride was severely dented, to the point he said he'd never be driving again, which is quite sad.
It's never easy to know when it's time to hang up the car keys for the last time. Once a certain age is reached, driving skills diminish and the chances of being involved in an accident multiply. In Cardiff, PC Tony Lewis has resumed his patrol. He's spotted a skillful bit of parking, but there's something funny about it.
On arrival at the scene, you can't help but laugh. The car is reversed up over metal railings and the back end is just in mid-air.
All right, hang back up forward.
Almost instinctively, I just thought to myself, it's going to be an automatic.
How did they manage to do that?
That's good, isn't it? How'd you do that then?
I reversed to clear the road.
Sorry?
I reversed to clear the road.
So
I came out from here.
Right.
A bit of traffic around.
Yeah.
And kept an eye down because...
How far down did you get? How far down did you get? Or were you just stationary at the junction?
I was just coming out of this junction.
Okay.
Came round and there was a car the other side which had to stop because somebody crossed the crossing.
Right.
And I went into the back of it.
You've gone into the back of the other car as well, have you?
Car, yes.
Where's that car now?
Oh, that car went straight away.
Okay, no damage, was there?
There was some damage.
Did you exchange details?
Yes.
You did you?
Yeah.
And then you decided to reverse back into the fence?
I decided to reverse.
Is it a man?
Not consciously, but...
Is it a manual or automatic?
Automatic.
Automatic.
And...
See, if I'd been a betting man, I'd have said it was an automatic.
Yes.
Lewis's hunch is right on the money, unlike the driver's foot.
My foot slipped off the brake onto the throttle.
All right.
Going backwards.
Have you made any arrangements to get the vehicle recovered?
About 3 hours ago, the RAC were in...
Well, what time did this happen then?
11 o'clock this morning. About 11.
11 o'clock this morning?
Because as it transpired, the collision has actually taken place some 3 hours earlier.
Well, watch yourself as you go under there.
That one. That's the one, which is one of the stiff uprights.
Well, yeah, they're going to have to get a recovery. They have to get a recovery firm out to lift it up and over.
That's what's happening. I'm waiting for now. And that, at the moment, will just go straight into the boot.
Well, yeah, that's right. And your car will suddenly become a write-off.
Yeah.
Rather than the fence being a write-off.
Yes.
It would appear that officers that had attended earlier had been quite happy for him to arrange for his own motor insurance company to arrange recovery.
While he waits for his recovery, the man's got time to drown his sorrows.
You take care, all right?
With a nice cuppa.
I'll go for a cup of tea, I think, now.
I say. Try not to reverse anyway in future.
Really nice gentleman. I think he realised he got it all wrong, and I think he was just a bit embarrassed by it all, really.
Back in Swansea, where the two occupants of the car which crashed into a wall are also in need of a calming cup of tea, something else freakish has happened.
Three young boys came up from the wooded area behind. A couple of them are running ahead of the other boy, and I was like, he's hurt his arm. And I sort of looked over and I could see this area of red on his arm. And I thought, oh, they've seen me here, they've seen the ambulance, they've managed to go and get some sort of joking wound and stick it on his arm for a little bit of, bit of a laugh or a bit of joke. When I got closer, I could see that half his arm was missing. He'd sheared a big lump of flesh out of his arm.
The elderly couple are going to miss out on their comfy ride home in the ambulance. The boy's gruesome injury is far more imperative.
It's all right, it's not going to go anywhere. Take your time. There we are. One more now, and you're on the floor.
She got stuff in the...
I know, I'll help you now.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's down to the bone.
Scalped him, isn't it?
Oh. Quick thinking from the friends of the boy who slipped out of the tree has saved his skin.
They passed us when we got there to the bump first of all, so they knew we were there. And obviously he had the presence of mind to think, right, there's an ambulance up the road, quick, go and get help, which was fantastic of them, you know. He's fallen out of a tree. They've obviously been tree climbing in the back of the forested area, and boys being boys have fallen out. And instead of bouncing back like a bit of rubber, he's taken off his arm with him. But no, not a nice way to hurt yourself, I don't think.
It's got a little bit of pandemonium, isn't it? A little bit of pandemonium.
It was a bit of a foot-slipping day, I think, wasn't it? But yes, no, always rely on me for a bit of sympathy.
As day slips into night, in Cardiff, PC Tony Lewis has got an emergency call that a pedestrian has been run over.
Yeah, responding to a report of a road traffic collision.
It's another hit and run by the sound of it.
A vehicle and a pedestrian, so not aware how serious the injuries are or the circumstances in relation to it at this time. You're just thinking a number of things. Is this the vehicle stolen? And is that the reason why it hasn't stopped? Is the driver under the influence of alcohol? Is that another reason why they haven't stopped? Are they disqualified? And until you get there and assess what's actually happened, your mind's just racing. You want to get there as quickly as possible.
The accidents happened in a quiet residential area of Cardiff, an unusual place for a pedestrian to be run down at this time of night.
There was a young male lying in the carriageway, somewhere in the region of 18 to 20 years of age. Hi mate, what's your name?
Mark.
Mark, what's happened Mark? He appeared to be slightly under the influence of alcohol. He was just complaining of a leg injury, and almost immediately we've been joined by paramedics.
This car came from that way.
Right.
And just like hit my left side of my body.
Okay.
And that was it.
Has the vehicle stopped?
No, it went that way and bazoo.
Okay. Who else was with you?
My mate dropped me off because he had gone.
Okay.
The young man's had a bit to drink. He's hurt his leg, but nothing's broken.
Did you see the car?
No, I was at home in bed.
It's quite difficult when people are under the influence of alcohol or other substances to assess just how seriously injured they are.
If you touch his leg, it's fine. I can move that way. This one, but somebody's touching that. Did you go down?
PC Lewis has got a lucky break. The injured man managed to get a glimpse of the mystery car and part of its number.
All I can see at the moment in my eyes is that it was GK. Yeah. It was red. A red
VW starting GK, yeah? He's advised me of a vehicle which has collided with him, a red Volkswagen. He's obtained a partial index, which was Golf Kilo. Do you see which way it went?
It went that way. And it
or straight up, or you don't know?
I don't know, I'm so sorry, mate.
Okay, no worries. That's all right. It's all right, I'm going to go forward. Can I just give you a brief update regarding this collision?
Yeah, fire away.
Yeah, thank you. It's a fail to stop, PIRTC. The offending vehicle is a red in colour Volkswagen. 5-10 minutes, the injured party is still lying in the carriageway. Those policing units have made their way to the area and they're also carrying out a search for the offending vehicle. Because obviously we take fail to stop road traffic collisions very seriously. All you can see is it's a red VW starting with index Golf Kilo. See, his dad's coming now, yeah?
The only 2 red VWs in the area have been checked out. They're still on their driveways and haven't recently been driven.
Mark, do you think it was a car? Was it a car or a van?
It was definitely a car.
Not a transporter van? No?
No, it happened so quickly.
Okay, mate.
It was red. All I know is that it was red and it was GK.
Carry out a general search of the area, see if a vehicle's been parked up or anything like that. And as it happened, we weren't able to locate any vehicle.
The young man's dad, who lives nearby, has arrived.
It's only 7 or 8 doors away from where he lives. A number of neighbours have come out. They've obviously recognised the male. One of them has then gone and informed the male's father.
Mark, I know this chap's looking after you, you've got to think seriously now.
Well, I know that it came from that way.
Yeah.
Where this man's standing, yeah? And all I did was cross from there to here, and this car came zooming through, and...
Left in a car or a van?
I don't know. All I can see is this lights coming towards my eyes, and it was red.
Did it hit you full on or side on it?
I don't know.
Oh, go a sec, come on, Vic. Come on. Wait.
All he's worried about is his son. He can see his son lying in the carriageway with injuries, and the vehicle, which is responsible for these injuries, has left the scene. He wants that vehicle and person traced as soon as possible.
CCTV might help trace the mystery vehicle. Their use for surveillance by local authorities might be controversial, but when it comes to what happens on the roads, the cameras don't lie. In Swansea, something has happened in range of a camera. It looks like an accident on a section of dual carriageway. PC Griffiths is the nearest traffic cop to the incident, and she needs to be quick. Another driver is trapped.
As an RTC taxi driver is trapped in the vehicle at present. Fire service are in the process of cutting him free. At present, they don't know the extent of injuries because they can't get close enough to him.
Yeah, noted. I'm just leaving in this video now. If you show me code 5, please, I'll get there as soon as I can.
The trapped driver's been able to give details of another car involved. He believes it's a Vauxhall Corsa.
If the taxi driver's trapped and the Corsa's made off, I don't know if the Corsa would have gone far, if it's been able to get very far at all, due to the damage.
The damage to the taxi is considerable. The signs aren't good.
There was a taxi on the offside carriageway in the middle of the road. There was a road sign that had been demolished, which was in the Grass Central Reservation.
What do you think? What's happened here? Do you know? Do you know what's happened here yet?
The ambulance and the fire service were there treating the guy, trying to get him out.
Yeah, right, lovely.
I always aim for the white helmet. I try to use that as a point of reference. You know, he's the man in charge.
It's a two-vehicle RTC.
Right.
The other vehicle's made off, but during the course of the RTC, this vehicle's been spun. There's been a collision with this post here. Obviously, what you can see we're doing at the moment is he's got suspected spinal injuries.
Right.
So we're just making it convertible, basically.
Lovely.
So we can get him out. It's not time critical or anything like that, but we're just trying to manage it.
Lovely, great. I'll let you carry on now. I'll let you carry on. Thanks, that bit.
The account that we had from the driver was that he was forced off the road. He thought by a silver Corsa. So obviously that sort of focused our sort of investigations into looking for this silver car and trying to gather a bit of evidence.
In Cardiff, PC Lewis has had a breakthrough. A vital new bit of evidence has come to light concerning what happened to the pedestrian struck down by a mystery red car.
Whilst dealing with the incident, we've been approached by a female who lives opposite the collision site.
One of the 4 million cameras in the country happens to be on this street, right beside where Mark was knocked over.
It transpired that they had CCTV cameras fitted to the front of their property, and she suggested we might want to view them.
And all is not what it at first seemed.
See him on his phone for a number of seconds. And then, for absolutely no apparent reason, he just walks out into the carriageway and lays down. Unbelievable. No vehicles go past him, nothing. Nothing whatsoever, just lays there.
The search for the mystery car can be cooled off. But his dad's not too happy.
His natural reaction was he wanted to kill his son, I think. We viewed CCTV in a premises directly outside where this incident occurred, which shows him lying down in the carriageway and no vehicles passing him until his friend arrived approximately 5 minutes later, so it would appear to be fantasy or...
What can I say to that?
I'm his father. Go and nick him. What have you got nick him for?
His father's alongside us now, asked us to go and arrest him for something, so...
Nick him for wasting your time.
So,
go on, lock him up.
Nightmare. He's got his son making a complete and utter fool out of him. It's embarrassing, really, isn't it? Completely and utterly embarrassing. We viewed the CCTV, you just see him just walk out and lie down.
He's on his phone here. Yeah. He walks around the circle by there. Yeah. And for some reason, it's wet. Why? I know it's wet. If it was dry, I can understand.
Because even when the paramedics were here...
fallen over then?
No, he's laid down. You were actually laid down in the carriageway. Yeah. But even when the paramedics here lifted his leg and all that, he's screaming. And his dad, by this point, had obviously completely lost his rag.
Hot on the heels of the dad, the cops need to get to the hospital first to prevent there being a genuine casualty. In Swansea, they're still trying to get the crashed taxi driver out so they can get him to hospital. PC Griffiths and a traffic colleague have got a fresh lead in the search for the silver car.
He's clobbered the curb where you are, see, isn't he?
Bits of Renault there. A Renault.
Renault, hee-haw. Va-va-voom. It's perhaps a Renault then, not...
Yeah.
Keith Davis, he's off the motorway. He came in and helped, and he was just trying to piece together the evidence and try to work out where this other vehicle had gone now.
I don't know whether that...
That's a scuff mark, isn't it? Because he's broken the curb here as well.
PC Griffiths' car know-how is coming in useful.
At the side of the road was a piece of plastic, part of the grille, from what I recognise to be a Renault Clio. So all of a sudden we've got a Corsa, which could possibly now be a Clio.
That's the grille, because that'll sit on there. No, that's definitely the grille. Because this has got all information about the battery and the antifreeze. Say again?
Yeah. The vehicle that's made off with the Renault.
Once we found the piece of plastic, we thought, bingo, you know, we'd possibly got to make a car now to look for.
If it is a Renault, which I think it might be, it's going to have front-end damage to the bonnet area. The plastic left, we think, is the part of the grille and the lip of the plastic that fits under the bonnet. So part of his grille is here, so it looks like he's going to have quite extensive front-end damage when this vehicle's found of it. The Mondeo behind is the taxi. From the driver's talking, he's conscious. What he's saying is he's been tagged from behind. He's been hit from behind by another vehicle. He thinks it's a Corsa. He's in the taxi now. He's ambulance trying to get him out. He's complaining of pain to his left side. He's talking, he's conscious, but obviously they're treating him with precaution just in case he has a spinal injuries. But looking at the debris on the road, he says it was a Corsa, but looking here, it looks like we got a Renault because there's bodywork here with the Renault emblazoned across it. But at the moment, we can just let the other emergency services carry on, do their job, and we can wade in later.
There's more evidence pointing to what happened further back up the road.
There is a bit of scuff marking on the rear offside.
Right.
On it.
I wonder if he's clipped this curb up here, this corner here. Look.
There's a scuff there.
Look, there's a scuff all the way along here.
And it's pointing towards human error. The taxi driver's own human error.
It became apparent after a while that he had straight-lined the roundabout, but in doing that had clipped the curbstones on the roundabout, which had left the mark.
And there's a bit here, there's a bit there, there's a bit there.
By clipping the curb, he's lost his back end, which has caused him to go over the grass and end up in the position he was in.
I'm just wondering whether or not this silver car ever existed.
There.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. There. Because on the curve of the roundabout, there's scuff marks on the curbstones.
Right.
So it looks to me, and Keith at the moment, he's straight-lined it. And he's nudged his arse end out, right, which has sent him spinning.
Yeah. Which would have unsettled him. And if he's done that sort of thing, and then he's gone, that would put him into this position.
And between the pair of us, you know, with Keith with far more experience than what I've got, we managed to piece it all together and come to the conclusion, the pair of us, that there was no other car.
This side?
Yeah.
He's come across.
Clobbered that.
The rear has hit there.
Yeah.
And then the car has spun around through 180 degrees.
The taxi driver has had his chips.
Warm chips. Definitely not my din-dins.
He's come this way.
Eating and driving, a recipe for disaster.
We've got the rogue bodywork parts, but I think that's just cruel coincidence. It's just happened to be there at the same time. Perhaps there's been an earlier bump here, I don't know. He was lucky there was no passengers in the car because he'd be facing far more serious questioning than simply asking him what happened, because he, as a taxi driver, you've got to remember it's his professional business. It's his duty of care to get his passengers to the destination they want to go to, which would be home and not the local hospital.
At the local hospital in Cardiff, the man run over by the mystery red car is about to learn that his accident was caught on camera.
Hiya, Mark. It's the police, mate.
I am.
How are you?
Okay.
Anything you want to tell me?
As in...
What car did you over, Mark?
As in what car did you over?
A red one.
Was it? Okay.
Mark.
No, start again before
Mark, on a serious note, right, okay? At the moment, I can tell you what's happened, all right? You've wasted my time, 4 other police traffic cars, okay? 2 paramedics and an ambulance, and all these people in here. We viewed the CCTV, which shows you walking down the pedestrian footpath and then just lying in the road and no cars going past.
I swear.
Your dad's viewed it as well.
Don't touch me.
Where's the phone?
Your dad has viewed it as well, mate.
Mark.
Yeah, get my phone now, Luke, and I will tell you.
Mark, your dad has viewed the CCTV with us.
CCTV.
His son was actually in a room on his own, which made it a little bit easier. Made it easier for us, and made it easier for the dad to have a word with him, shall we say.
I'll be waiting for you outside.
What did you just say then?
Mark, you've wasted everyone's time, mate.
Yeah, I swear I'm dead, and I wouldn't fake this, but my neck is actually quite sore.
It's going to be quite sore. You've been in a collar for the last 15, 20 minutes.
My leg is very sore.
Okay, your leg's very sore, but you've wasted all that time saying you've been hit by a car.
There's a reason for that.
Well, there is. He's quite embarrassed, isn't he?
Well, all I can see it in my eyes, in my head.
Yeah, but he's quite embarrassed of what's going on. No, mate. Unfortunately not, well, unfortunately not, because you've faked a road traffic collision that's wasted God knows how many people's time, wasted all these resources.
And my leg is actually really sore.
Really sore? Why is it really sore then, mate? Because all you've done is lay down in the road.
It's like that.
I think you've wasted enough people's time now, haven't you?
Well, my leg is sore.
We've spoken with paramedics, doctors and the nurses who were overseeing his care. We've informed them of what we'd seen on the CCTV cameras. They were astounded. They couldn't believe it.
Wasting police time with false reports is a criminal offence, which PC Lewis isn't taking lightly.
I don't want that name in place.
Well, we'll go outside and I'll be giving you a fixed penalty notice for wasting police time. Okay?
Can I swear to that?
What's that, mate?
My dad will be for me, please.
All right, I'll keep your dad away from you.
As in, out my face because he will flip.
I'm not so... Well, I would flip as well.
No, I'm lying to you because I'm not good.
At the end of the day, there's a lot of people who aren't well and in need of ambulance and paramedics,
and
okay?
I'm the first one to ring you if they need them.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is...
And I'm not going to lie to you and joke about this.
What I'm saying to you, Mark, all right, is paramedics and response vehicles are limited, okay? There aren't that many of them, and they don't need to be wasting their time with people faking road traffic collisions, all right? It may seem a good laugh and all that sort of thing, but it's not. It's not very impressive at all. Is it?
Well, it's not faking it though, because I can see it in my head.
Well, you might be able to see it in your head, but the camera doesn't lie, does it? And it shows you lying into the road. Sorry?
I see the light.
Right. Come on then, put your shoe on.
Well, I'm going to walk without it because my foot is actually quite sore.
You're going to walk without it. Come on then.
That's okay with you.
It's fine, mate. You do as you see fit. It was phenomenal, really. Something I hadn't seen before.
Where's my dad, please?
Their resources are dwindling all the time, paramedics. Sorry, folks. And the people crying out for them, and they're just dealing with incidents like this. It's crazy. Sorry, folks. Come on, police car over here. Police car over there. Police car over there, or I'll drag you over there. To do something like that, it's just normal. And even when he's leaving the hospital, he's hobbling out of there.
Mate, there's nothing wrong with your leg. Don't give me all out of your leg.
As you said, we're going to give him a ticket now for wasting police time. I'm not really sure what was going on in that head, to be honest, but there was certainly no road traffic collision. Yeah, if you could, I'm going to deal with it by way of a fixed penalty notice for wasting police time. That's how we chose to deal with it, which is an £80 fine. I can safely say in 11 years service, it's not something I've seen previously. I'm not aware of any of my colleagues having dealt with something similar, so thankfully people don't tend to waste their time too often.
The taxi driver who wasted police time by saying a phantom car forced him off the road is going to need a new vehicle for his business. This one's just about been written off.
If there was passengers in that taxi, I wouldn't have liked to have seen the outcome. You know, he could have been seriously injured in that. He said the taxi was in a mess.
The road sign's a bit mucked up as well.
Yes, he's damaged street furniture, but nobody else has been hurt. He's either been going back to the office or to a call, and he's trying to get there as quick as he can. But in doing so, he's sort of misjudged the roundabout slightly, and he's trying to straight line it, and that's what's caused him to spin around and go off the road.
While the smashed-up taxi departs for the knacker's yard, PC Griffiths is heading for the hospital to check out its driver.
He didn't have any alcohol in his system, that was fine. But it's just one of the procedures to go through after a bump to breathalyse the drivers. He was a very lucky boy. I think he had a bit of a bruise into his hip. He was released from hospital.
He may not be so lucky when all the evidence is in. He might be charged with driving offences.
Thank you. I don't know if it's already been requested, but regarding the CCTV for the bump in the Liberty Stadium, can someone contact CCTV and ask them to retain that tape, because we're going to be needing it over?
One of our next inquiries was checking the CCTV. All they could show us on the CCTV was a blur of a white vehicle going so quickly that the cameras couldn't pick it up that well. But significantly, there's no other vehicle in that clip. It was just a nice sort of smile on your face, satisfaction moment that, yeah, I knew what was going on here, and I was right in the end.
It's been a long night, but there's still one more thing to be done. The all-important paperwork.
So everyone's tired, wanting to get home, and it's got to go in. Bits that nobody else sees. Doesn't happen on the bill.
At their base in Swansea, the traffic cops have ways of coping with all the office duties. They like to make a drama out of a crisis.
We're in a stressful job. If we can get a bit of humour, that little smile may keep you going for another couple of hours. And yeah, Steve's got a habit of making people smiling. I have no idea where that wig's come from.
As is often the case in police inquiries, the cops have had a tip-off in the hit-and-run investigation. The suspect is a disqualified driver, well known to the police.
All right, in relation to that bump that we had yesterday, information has been received now that we've got a potential name for the driver. An anonymous call came in from a member of the public who's basically said that they had seen that person driving the car 4 hours before the bump. Just doing a niche check on him. He's got one confirmed address and 2 or 3 possible addresses. One of the addresses may be a bit anti-police, so just need to have a look at the intelligence on it, just to confirm exactly what's going on. So it's just getting all the paperwork done sorted, first of all, before we go hunting. Didn't take long to put the team together. We had the information at, say, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, and we were out hunting by midday. Hiya, all right? Is here? Can I come in a minute?
Yeah. My mum's upstairs.
Was she upstairs, eh?
Yeah.
Looked around the house, a voluntary search around the house. Couldn't find him for love nor money.
There's no sign of the man they're hunting for, but they've found a useful gadget for unpicking car locks.
The longer someone's in trying to start a car, the more chance we've got of getting there. So if they can carry what turns out to be half a scaffolding pole.
This goes on the ignition column and they snap it straight off. Takes the steering lock clean out.
Then they're away before someone would probably even realise that the car's been taken.
At Force headquarters in Bridgend, work is going on to see if any fingerprints can be found on the inside of the ignition cowling, found broken in the stolen red Metro. The process involves evaporating superglue inside a sealed chamber. The vapour sticks to any residue left by someone's fingers on the plastic they've touched.
Superglue cabinet, ready for them to go through the process.
The police lab specialist used to play scrum half for Wales.
Gerald Williams used to be an ex-international rugby player and is now putting his expertise in the fingerprints.
A good print has been uncovered. It's just a matter of photographing it so an expert in the nearby fingerprint bureau can now analyse it and try and match it with one on the police database.
There are other ways culprits are obviously wearing gloves, but it doesn't mean to say we stop there because they're wearing gloves. Obviously there are means of looking at certain things. After the item has been subjected through a fluorescent chemical, it's re-evaluated as I'm doing now, whereby further ridge details have developed.
Fingerprints are one of the best pieces of evidence in any crime. The chances of two people having the same ones are in the billions. So if someone's dab is found at a crime scene, it's a pretty sure bet that that person was there.
Fingerprints is an exact science.
The expert must be sure he's got a matching print by finding identical characteristics.
That's the person.
The person can now be identified from the millions of records stored on file. That there's a hit is just the news PC Mellor has been praying for.
The Fingerprint Bureau will make exceptions on times and we'll give officers a few phone calls.
Oh, top man. Exactly what I wanted to hear. Any other prints lifted or any other persons possibly mentioned?
And the news could not be better.
Right.
The prints belong to the person he's been looking for.
Without shadow of a doubt. Tidy darts.
The fingerprint system itself, I think they have to get 16 separate points of the fingerprint to get a match, and they had a perfect match. There was no question whatsoever. So yeah, we were over the moon with that.
It's been a week since the man was knocked down outside the Chinese on his way home from getting the Sunday papers. With the noose closing in, the prime suspect has at last agreed to hand himself in for questioning.
Eventually he did come in. We made an appointment for say 10 o'clock in the evening and he turned up at midnight.
Come on, come in son. All right. I'm fired because you're in the police station, all right?
Yeah.
Let me just give you this first of all.
Yeah.
Do you know what you're here for?
No.
Right, okay, I'm arresting you on suspicion of theft of a motor vehicle,
Yeah.
all right? And for failing to stop at the scene of an injury, road traffic accident,
Yeah.
all right? And caution you don't have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention one question, something which you may later rely on in court.
Yeah.
Anything you do say may be given in evidence,
Yeah,
all right?
yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Right, have you got anything on you know I need to be aware of?
Fags is all.
Your fags, right? Okay. You changed a bit since I've seen you last. Where's the blonde hair on?
Well, not my house. Look where I can.
I'm not so much trying to get him on my side. I don't want that at all. But I do want him to talk. And I want them to tell me what's happened.
So I thought they would give me a bit of a run around earlier. First they were going to turn up at 8, and then it was going to be within the hour at 9, and then it was going to be a town hill at 11.
I want to get as much information as I can. There are times where you have to sort of bite your lip and say, do you realise you nearly killed someone? You come across with that kind of attitude and the chances are they're going to freeze and they're not going to tell you anything.
RTCs occurred at Llanrwelth Road, junction with Plough Road, where a stolen vehicle has collided with a pedestrian in the carriageway. And information being received that is possibly the driver of that vehicle. And because of the nature of the incident, we need to bring him in and have a chat soon rather than later.
The man has brought his pyjamas with him. He's fearing the worst.
There was stuff that his mother had given him just in case, so he can be clean and tidy when if he went to court the following day and if he was going down.
Despite Mellor's friendly approach, the man didn't want to talk when he was interviewed after all. He refused to answer any questions, including how it was that only his fingerprints were found in the car.
If he doesn't want to account to it for me, fine, account for it to the courts. They're the ones who make their minds up. They're the ones who will put him behind bars again. And he's going to come up with a damn good reason why his fingerprint was there to stop him from going to prison.
10 minutes.
There were options there for him to have said, well, the reason it happened was because it wasn't really my fault, and he still didn't give those answers. We're not judge and juror. We're the evidence gatherers, so we're not in a position where we can say how it's going to do or how far it's going to go, or whatever the case may be. We're guided by others, so it'd be nice to let the pedestrian know exactly what's happening.
3 months after he was knocked down, Alan, the pedestrian, still hasn't fully recovered from his injuries.
If I'm in bed, I still get a bit of pain on top of my shoulder. I heard a screeching noise, and as I turned round, seen a car towards me on the floor. Really annoyed because they left me laying down in the cold weather, and I think in a pool of water. And then I could feel the blood coming down on my face. And probably he could do it again, all over again. You know, we could go down the road, get another car and do exactly the same. Because people like that didn't have any respect for the law or people in the society.
Nobody was ever put on trial for running Alan over. Despite the only suspect's fingerprints being found in the stolen car, the Crown Prosecution Service decided that there was insufficient evidence to prove he was driving it at the time of the accident.
Why they didn't decide to run with it, I don't know. The decision is out of our hands, to the point that the charges that we can put forward are only mere recommendations. Alan got away with his life. Thankfully, what if Alan had been laying there for another 2-3 minutes? What if the car had been going that extra 5 mile an hour and knocked him unconscious? We would have been looking at a lot worse.